All right, welcome back, guys. This is the second part to our series that we're doing on suites and salons and all of the things in between. Really happy to have Sam Mattucci Hair with us.
Hi.
What's your handle?
Sam Mattucci Hair.
At Sam Mattucci Hair.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So wait, are you not Sam Curran? Oh, the face.
Legally, I am, but I'm Sam Mattucci at heart.
She's trademarked Sam Mattucci.
I know.
That's so funny. All right, so
So this
all
is the flip
seriousness.
side to the series.
Yep, flip side. So Sam is not only one of my favorite humans on earth, but she is someone who used to work for our salon company, and she ended up leaving and going to our suites. What year was that? 22?
Yeah. April of 22, I went to the suites. So
All right,
it's been
cool.
3 years.
All right, so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk all things about your experience. So just give our audience a breakdown of your journey in the hair industry.
Hold on, you got to be honest here. Like, you can't just
No, I'm going to be.
sugarcoat some shit because you used to work for us. So put your right hand up.
Please.
Put your
I
right hand.
swear to God.
I, Sam Mattucci Curran.
It's Curran. It's Curran. No, I,
Curran,
Sam
sorry.
Mattucci Curran, promise to be truthful.
Even if it's going to hurt our feelings.
And vice versa. That's totally fine.
Cool. Yeah, you're going to help some people out today.
That's
so.
all right.
All right. So tell us when you got into the industry and what your journey looked like to getting into the suite.
Okay, I graduated hair school in 2013, started working in a salon as an assistant. I was there for like 3-ish years. Then I went to Privé and I was there with you guys, I think, for like 7. And then I went into the suites, but I grew up in the hair industry because my stepmom is a hairstylist. And honestly, in high school, I had no idea what the hell I was going to do, but I was not a school person. But then I always enjoyed doing like friends' hair and makeup, and I was into all that stuff. And I was like, why not try it out? And my family supported me because they were, like educated in the salon business. So I took a dive into that, and I ended up falling in love with it. And then I went to the suites in 22.
All right, yeah. You're meant to be in this industry.
I think so. Sometimes I'm like, I can't see myself doing anything else, but like it's hard at times.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
The service-based industry in general
Yeah.
is like ridiculously hard. And I think that
Yeah.
I think so many people see the glory in like, oh, you get to do hair. It's a fun industry. You
For
make
sure.
people feel good.
Yeah.
But dealing with people all day, every day is like really difficult.
You have to have the certain personality for it.
I was just about
Yeah.
to say that. Like, this should be easy for you
It
because
is.
you have that personality. There's so many stylists out there that just are like, I hate to say it, but duds on the wall, and they have to deal with people and different personalities all day, and they don't even have their own personality.
Sure.
I remember being in hair school the first day, and the director came in and she's like, all right, take a look around. All these people that you're in school with right now, not even half of them are all going to graduate. And I feel like I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we all like doing hair. And then now, like, after I graduated, I still was kind of like, you don't know what you're really getting yourself into until you're like in the salon and learning hands-on. But now I look back and I'm like, yeah, like if you don't have the personality or like to really handle everything, or you don't even realize what you're going to fully learn, you just think it's going to be fun and hair. And then at the end, it really tests you to be like, you either love it or you don't. So
There's quite a few people who have gone through our entire apprentice
right.
program, made it to the floor, and then turn around and they're like, I'm actually going to go back to school and do
Right.
something else.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like
No,
they
I've-
don't understand
yeah.
or comprehend until they're like right there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty wild. All right, so you're with us. You were with us. You were one of my assistants, which
Yes.
we just so much enjoyed each
I
other's
enjoyed
company.
that,
I
Yes,
enjoyed
so
it. I was
much.
right next. I was like, yes.
So
this is going to be a good day for me.
Yeah.
When you
I know,
just said that you were
seriously.
with us for 7 years, though, I feel like it was so much longer.
I know.
Like,
It's
so
crazy to
they
think.
were like the
I
best
know.
7 years,
No,
too.
I have
I
to
know.
say it. When you said that, I think it's very interesting because I was at my old salon 7 years when
Before
I
you opened
decided to go
Privé.
out on my
Yeah.
own. And I know that there's research behind it. It's like 7 years when you're in something that you then get the itch to either career change or do something like you did,
Right.
like I did.
Don't they
It's
say that with
something about the
relationships,
7.
too? If
Yeah.
you make
They say,
it
like,
7 years,
friendships.
it's
Yep.
either make it or break it
Yep.
at that
Yep.
point. You're
For
either going to
sure.
stay together forever or never.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we hit 7 years with Privé, and I know that our circumstance is different because we were opening suites.
Right.
But what were the driving factors to you making the decision that it's time for me to go independent?
I think I was looking at the situation I was in, and then I would look at my future and to see what I wanted and how I was going to get there, it just felt like it wasn't aligning anymore. Just like the goals that I was going to need to reach being in a salon and to get there, it just felt like that wasn't how I pictured myself to get there. And then what I wanted for myself, it just felt like the suites was for me. Like the goals with my clients, promotions, all that, it just felt like that was the way to go at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And I feel like timing is everything.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like if maybe you didn't even open the suites, I might have just been like, nope, privé is good. Like my thing too is I was like, either if I'm going to go to the suites, these are the suites I'm going to, or I'm just going to stay at privé, you know, like I never really thought about them, to be honest, until you guys did open them. And I was like, all right, I'm more interested. Like I want to know more information about like what's going on.
So it seems like it wasn't like a matter of like you were just unhappy with a salon. You
No.
just saw an opportunity and it
For
was
sure.
like, I'm jumping and taking that.
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
love that.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, because I had already worked at another salon before, I knew that I was never going to switch to another salon setting. But I also was like, I know I'm not like 100% happy. And then, but also it was like, if you didn't have the suites, I probably was like, all right, the bad doesn't outweigh that much to leave another salon. You know, it was like, I'm either going to stay here, but then the suites opened up and I was like, I want to know more
is you.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because I feel like when we announced that we were going to do the suites, what was it, like spring, early summer?
I think it was like what 2021 you guys announced more summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like August.
And I feel like initially so many of you guys weren't heavily interested at that time.
Yeah, we were like kind of surprised at that point. Like we
Yeah.
thought we were like, remember when we were talking about it, we're like, we can potentially lose half of our
Oh, yeah. It
staff
was
at
scary.
Newtown. We were like nervous, but we're like, we have to offer this to them.
I was even surprised when you guys said you were opening it. I was like, are you guys nuts? What if everybody leaves?
Y'all dumb.
We're opening it 3 doors down.
Yeah.
Like,
but then I was like,
Y'all know we right here, right? Like that's there, and
but
we're
also
right
I
here.
understood why you guys did it because it's like if you can't, what is the saying? Like beat them, choose them, or what is
Join
it?
'em, beat 'em,
Yeah,
right?
join them,
Can't
lose,
beat 'em,
whatever.
join 'em.
Yeah, I understood why. It was like we might as well be a part of it, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of how we felt, you know, like when we decided to do it, we were scared by the concept, you know, like it rocked our industry in 2018 in our particular area. And we started to toy with the idea of possibly doing it. And like, it was so funny because I remember mentioning it to Kirsten and she was like, no,
Yeah.
you guys should not do this. Don't do this. And then we, of course, went against the grain like we typically do. And, you know, it was definitely risky. Like
Yeah.
it was. And now, you know, I think about it and we lost. I mean, I think there's nine of our team members are now at the suites.
Yeah,
Is that
I think
right?
it's 9.
Is it
now.
9?
Now, yeah.
Yeah, it's 9. And it happened
gradually.
slowly.
It
was
wasn't all
gradual.
at once.
Yeah. But I can remember the initial interest was a few people and then it kind of went in this wave and then all of a sudden it was like I think what was it 6 of you guys right
Something
around the
like
same
that,
time
yeah.
and it was right at the point where we were about to open.
Yes.
And I think was it like the urgency like you now realize like okay like it's either now or never because they
Yeah,
only
once they
have
fill, they're
4
done.
left
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was when you guys first announced it, I definitely reached out and I was like, I just want some more information. But then at the time I was pregnant or just had my second child. So I was like, now is not a good time to even really think about that. But then as it was getting closer, knowing that there were only, I think at the time, like 4 suites left, I was like, oh my gosh, hold on. If I'm going to go into a suite, these are the suites I want to go into. Let me figure this out. And yeah, I kind of was like, and then other people were going into it that I was close with and they were telling me, you know, their positives or their side of it. And so I was just way more interested. I was like, if now's a good time, especially for like the goals that I wanted for my family and like what I wanted, I was like, now's a good time for me to do it. Nothing is really in my way. You know,
And
like
you guys had our full support. Like you knew if it wasn't going to work out, you were coming right back. So
yeah,
that must feel good too.
yeah, no, I definitely knew that if I was going to be leaving to a suite, I knew that I would have like more support going into the privé suites, you know. I think if I left and went to a different suite and you guys were opening suites 2 doors down or 3 doors down, I think you would have been like way more like, hold on, why are you not coming to ours? You know,
Yeah.
like why choose there over us?
For sure.
Yeah.
That would have been
What were some of the things that you were like seeking from the suites?
I think the flexibility.
Okay.
Just with like having kids calling out, like, you know, if they were sick or something. It's not that I didn't feel like you guys weren't supported for families because I never felt that at all. But it was getting so, not like crowded, but every station was taken. So it was like, even if I did need to make up a day, sometimes it was even hard to find a station that was open for that day to go in. And then I was like stressing about like, well, I need to get my clients in and, you know, within this week still I need to make it up. So that was like a determining factor. And just making more money, I guess, you know, I was like, I feel like I'm stuck making this money. I would like to make more, and just be able to provide for my family more, things like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So how was your husband is obviously, well, to the audience, not obviously, but
Yeah.
Dan's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He has his own business.
Yes.
Was he supportive with this decision?
Yeah, I was like itching with the idea, and he was more not like in my ear, like you need to do it, but he was like, do you not think that I was scared when I was trying to open my business?
Yeah.
Like you have to make the jump and then you realize like it was the best thing for you. But of course, like it's scary. And also he was in my ear to be realistic because that's how he is. He's like, it's not going to be like rainbows and butterflies, you know, like you're going to do it. And then there's going to be times where you're like dealing with stressful situations, but that's just part of everything, you know? So he definitely was like positive in helping me do it. And then also he was there to help me be like, all right, this is how you need to like do an LLC. Like he was super like, I had been there, I know what to do. Obviously it's not the same industry, but he was like, I can at least help you with like the logistics of it, you know?
So you also went into business. Well, I'm not sure how you guys are structured, but
Yeah.
you share a suite with your best friend
Yes.
and another former Privé employee, Brianna.
Yes, Brianna.
So how was that dynamic? Was that kind of easy peasy? You guys kind of just
Yeah.
made it work, or were there any challenges or struggles figuring things out there?
No, I feel like it's been amazing. I feel like her and I are both on the same page. We want the same things out of it. We both are parents of a lot of kids, so I just feel like we're both like, this is what we can commit and give to our give to our business, and it just works for us. I feel like we both communicate the same way. She has like, which, you know, her responsibilities in the suite. I have mine. We communicate really well with each other. I'm lucky to say that that's been easy. I didn't go into business with somebody and then was like, what the hell did I just do? You know, it's been really an easy transition. Yeah. And also thinking about going into a suite with somebody, I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anybody else either.
Taking that leap, like, and having your best friend, like, to lean on back and forth, like, that's just awesome.
Yeah, no, because I remember you saying too, like, I'm in business with my sister and my best friend. You're gonna have to have uncomfortable conversations. So I was prepared for that. But I feel like whenever we've had maybe like an uncomfortable conversation, it's always been super like, you know, mature or, you know, handled very well, you know?
I think your personalities go. Because
Yeah.
I think both of you are, and I think this is important in general when it comes to business and partnerships. Number one, you have to trust that the person that you're going into partnership is going to do right by the business, not right by them.
100%.
Like it kind of has to be the business has to be the main priority, and then you guys come behind that. And as long as that's established initially and there's
Right.
no selfishness
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
you could typically kind of make it work.
Well, I think
And-
both of us just want the same thing for each other. You know, it's just you're busy, I'm busy. We want each other to be successful and to be happy, and we want the same things out of it, you know? So I think our personalities are very similar too, you know, with all of that stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to us about not only the financial changes that happened for you with the business.
Yeah.
Were there any surprises? Like anything that you were kind of like, whoa, I didn't realize this was the thing.
No, I mean, I guess just initially going into it and just like all of the things that you need to do to like open a business, you need to have your LLC. Then it's like, are we going to be in on it together? Like those weren't like surprises. It was just a lot of things that you didn't realize you have to think about. But once we did it, it was fine. Finances, obviously, like the first couple months when you're opening something and you have to put all that money out before you see it, that was a lot. But I feel like then once we were in it and like actually working, it wasn't like, because you're not constantly like buying decor. You're not buying a new mirror all the time. You're not buying like all that stuff. Obviously, like I'm in a situation too where I get to split everything like price wise with, you know, color and all that. I feel like that makes it easier for us too.
That was
So
my
you
question.
guys share your
Yeah.
business. You don't have it like you don't run two separate businesses under
No.
one.
So we all like when it comes to expenses for the suite, we share or we split it, but whatever we make with our clients is obviously ours. Like we don't like share any of that.
Okay.
So how do you decipher, like, say your business is like way stronger than Bree's. I'm
Right,
just throwing this
right.
out there.
Or vice
And you're
versa, yeah.
using way more color than Bree uses, but you're splitting the initial cost of the purchase. How do you figure that out? Like, is that fair?
I guess we kind of have the same system that we did at Privé, and I don't know if you guys still do it like that, where we would just take the tab off the color and just put it in a container.
So
and then
smart.
it's like whenever we just do our color order, we're just doing that. And then like we'll communicate with each other like, hey, do you have anybody who's in your schedule soon that is like maybe a color we don't always have in stock? Do you need me to like order it or something like extra? That's just
awesome.
how it works for us. But I feel like we just have a mutual understanding. It's like you might just be busier this week. I might be busier this week. Let's not like nitpick.
But it
and
equals
say-
out in the
yeah,
end.
and it equals
I
out in
got
the
you.
end. You
Okay.
know,
And I love
so
that
impressed.
mindset
Yeah.
that you guys are so on like in sync with each other on that, because
Yeah.
that could be a huge
100%.
deal breaker. I mean, we've seen it. It has split people up,
Yeah.
like
No.
friendships, everything.
I feel like we're both too like we're not like over pores, you know, or like use a ridiculous amount of color. So for me, I really don't ever like open my drawer of my color and I'm like, what the hell? Where did all the color go? You know, I feel like it's pretty like even. Like, yeah.
Like you said earlier, like I love that you guys have a shared, like your success is my success.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's what makes it work.
Yeah.
For you
Do
guys.
you guys work the same amount of hours?
Yeah, I think we both go in, like we both work 2 days a week, and I believe the same amount of hours. So I work Mondays and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then Bree, I believe, is there Tuesdays, Thursdays. I think she gets there around the same time, like 10, and then she's there until pretty late as well, just
Yeah.
because, you know. But that's what I like, too, about just me and her being in there, is if, you know, one of her kids are sick or mine, like we'll call each other and be like, you don't plan on coming in this weekend at all to like, you know, at all for whatever reason. And I'm like, no. So then we have the 3 extra days of flexibility to be like, I can take my client that day. And I know you're not going to be there, you know? So
Yeah, that
that
works
has worked
nice.
out really well too.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just had something.
So
that I wanted
any
to ask you.
surprises with the finances or overhead or anything like that, that like you were like, shoot, now I'm a business owner. I never realized I had this.
How about taxes?
No, she's a
Honestly-
tax planner. I've already had these
Yeah.
conversations with her.
No, and I feel like Dan,
probably
yeah,
keeps
he's
her in
helped
line.
me. Yeah, obviously, like what he's gonna put away and what I'm putting away,
Yeah.
are totally 2 different things. But we both have the same accountant, but you know, she does with Dan's stuff and she helps me with mine. And she told me like a certain number that I should put away every week. So I feel like that's been really helpful. You know, like it seems a lot more scary, I feel like, but then once you get into like your rhythm and your swing of things and you know, I feel like I have been way more, like I feel like being in the salon, you know how much you're charging a day, but then it's like, okay, this is the percentage I know that's being taken out, but I feel like you don't almost really know, at least for me, like how much I was really expected to make because of like the taxes in a way. Like I didn't know the specifics of it, but now that I'm in the suite and I know how much I need to put away for taxes, I almost know exactly how much money I'm bringing in at all times, you know?
And
like
for
at the end of the week.
anybody out there that's thinking about opening a suite, this is such a huge part of your business. You need to get in touch with your accountant right
Yeah.
away. You need to figure out what taxes you should be saving. We talk about it all the time, doing your estimated taxes, because people, it's so easy to get into business and just see like the income and making the
100%.
money and not realizing, okay, now it's time to pay the piper like at the end of the year, and you're hit with like thousands of dollars that you owe the IRS now. And whether you have that saved or you've spent it, which a lot of people spend their money.
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, it's a nice thing, but if you're not going to be a type A or an organized person, you could get really, I think, messy, is because, I mean, and I don't know if it's like this for everybody, but we use Gloss Genius. So every single day when you do your like clients, you get paid right away the next day. So like that could just seem like, oh my God, I'm getting like hundreds of dollars every single day, or, you know, however many days you work. But if you're not being organized and putting, you know, the next day when you get paid and it's going into your account and you're not putting that money for your taxes away, like I'm sure like if you're not going to be an organized person, it can get messy quick.
That is just such a huge takeaway for anybody listening.
Well, I think that I'm thinking about the tenants that we've had, that the high turnover tenants, right? Like we started off with 24 full suites, and within the first year we lost like 3 or 4. And I can go back to the initial conversations of having with these people when we were onboarding them. And some of them, I feel like I saw the red flags. You know, like there's a particular individual that I was like, I don't think this girl knows what she's getting into. She was fresh out of school, had no book built, decided she was going to do this because her sister knew things about finance or something. Like just like it was made on a very naive idea of what I think reality was going to be. And it failed. and it failed fast. And this, she stopped showing up. She wasn't there at all. At some point, we were like, what's going on? Is she still coming? Is she not?
Right.
And then eventually it was just like, this isn't working out. And I feel bad because I think that she had a very naive idea of what it was going to require financially, because our suites we're not cheap.
No.
Like, it's not one of the what would we say, economic friendly. Like, we're more like high end, like
Luxury.
very
Yeah.
luxury. We wanted to be the premier suites that our service providers were. Whoever was coming in was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And that I think really kind of took a toll on that business. And I don't know where she's at now, but I just think that says like everything. Like you saying, like, I was prepared. I had my accounting figured out. I was being advised by an accountant. I
Yeah.
had everything figured out. And you also had a business bill.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was just about to say that when you were saying with whoever was in the suite and was kind of naive about it, I would say for anybody who's going into a suite, if you don't have a book already, like, or an established book and clients constantly coming in, like, you cannot go into the suite. Like, it is not, unless you are going to be out there really promoting yourself that much, you can't go into it because I will say there's not going to be like random phone calls, like, from just because they typed in on Google, like a salon, like nobody's going to go, I feel like, Google and type in and then go to a suite. Like, they're going to go to a salon that has a lot of reviews, that has a lot of people, or, like
Tons of marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they're going to call Privé, and then that's how you easily can build clients. You can't do that in a suite.
so I would say that's a benefit of working in a commissioned salon, is that
Right.
you are, the salon's doing the marketing.
100%.
Not all of it.
No, but
but
they're dealing with, I feel like you're a receptionist in a way too, to just have that conversation. Like, what are you looking for, like, budget wise, and they can place you with somebody, but you're not going to really be able to go through all of that in a suite. I just, you're not going to get busy.
Well, I feel like with our suites too, we kind of like, at first we kind of were just we were interested in anybody that was applying, but I feel like over time we did narrow it down, and like, to like, it is a society. Like, we can pick and choose who we're bringing in there. And if we feel someone's coming in, doesn't have a strong book, like stuff like that, like, we would deny them. We wouldn't even
because we don't want the
entertain it.
turnover. We
No,
want
we
people
don't.
to stay for a long time.
Yeah. So that's really important, having a strong book going into it.
Yeah.
For sure.
2 questions. So, did you lose a lot of clients when you left? And how do you get new clients now? And like, are you still actively getting new clients consistently?
I definitely lost a few clients, but I think it was more of my older clients, because I think they were just so not
Can't
used
handle
to-
change.
Yeah, they don't like
Stuck in their
change.
ways.
They're stuck in their ways a little bit. It was like taboo, I feel like, to be like, you're going to be by yourself, like, what do you mean? I don't know. I think
check me in?
They just
Don't
who's going to check
understand
me
the
out.
idea of it.
But at the same time, it was fine. I mean, I feel like too, I learned this is like, people are like, oh, I do single processes all the time. It's so boring. But I'm like, those are the people who are like paying your bills. So in a way, I was kind of like sad that they left, because I'm like, you come to me all the time. But if it just wasn't for them and it wasn't a fit anymore, and they just preferred the salon or like traditional salon environment, that's totally fine. I was like, you can go to Privé, and I can recommend people for you that I think you would do well with. And I still do actively get new clients. I think now it's just more of like word of mouth or referrals from my clients that I have now.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Are
Yeah.
you doing a lot of marketing or no?
No.
No. Okay, good. I mean, that's impressive. I have to be honest.
No, I mean, like, literally, let's look at Rooted's Instagram. It hasn't been posted in
my
like a year.
gosh.
But
what I'm saying is, like, from my perspective, if you're in a suite,
Yeah.
you really do need to market
you
yourself. But
should.
if you're growing, like, that's
No, I am.
amazing. So I feel like something you always had was really strong relationships with your clients.
yeah, I will say, I feel
Your
like
people are in it for the long run.
yeah, and I feel like I've gotten even closer with my clients now being in the suites, because I feel like it's just such an intimate environment that you're like forced almost to have like more personal conversations. I feel like I know them more about, or I know more about them and their families and their lives and like serious things that are going on, I also feel like it's a less stressful environment. So I feel like I can actually truly focus on the conversations that we're having and like remember and pick up where we left off every time. And I feel like that's something that's important for even like younger stylists, is your clients appreciate if you remember the little details about them. Like, they come in and they're like, wait, you remember that? And I'm like, yeah. And then, like, how's so-and-so doing? And, did you have that conversation with them? Like, how's that going? And they appreciate that so much, because they want to like, you're like their therapist. They want to come in and tell you all their like deepest, darkest secrets, and they know that you don't know anybody that they know, you know?
And the person sitting next to you is not listening.
Exactly, exactly.
There's definitely
There
a market.
is something to be said about that, because I feel like I'm more inclined to like let it flow when I'm in like a small room, and I'll like leave and be like, why the fuck did I just tell her that?
No,
Like,
sometimes I'm like, oh, I think I might have cursed a lot. Do you
yeah,
think she
but if I'm
cares?
like
Yeah, but it's
around
like
other
fine.
people, like that's funny.
Yeah.
But what I was saying though, there definitely is a market for people that actually prefer that small, intimate
Yes.
setting. Like not everybody wants to go into a big, fast-paced, loud salon.
I think
They
it can
like
be
that
intimidating
quiet,
sometimes.
calm,
Yeah,
you know,
It's more
spa-like
relaxing,
feel
exactly.
getting
Yeah.
your hair done.
for sure.
That's, I mean, I feel like that's me. Like, I'm so overstimulated by my 4 kids that, like, I get in the car, I'm like, nothing. I don't want anything on.
Yep.
Like, I want quiet. It's like, that's important to me to be, like, in a quiet setting. Although, like, I'm fine in a salon. I just put my AirPods on and
Well, I feel
roll
like
with
even
it.
for me, with all my kids, going to work is easier at times, you know, because I get to go have like my adult interaction with my friends or my clients, and I get to have like an not interrupted conversation, you know.
And don't feel guilty for saying that
Oh,
because
I
I
don't.
feel that way too.
No, I don't. I mean,
It's like work's an escape almost
yeah,
for me.
it took me a while to like say and not feel like guilty, but
Yeah.
I don't know how stay-at-home moms do it. Like I'm
They
home
have
with
the
them
hardest
a
job in the world.
lot. Yeah, and it's a lot. Like,
And probably the most underpaid.
oh, 100%.
yep. Stay at home.
It is the most underpaid.
I just,
Yeah.
it is. And it's so funny because unless you're married to like some buku billionaire who you're just out spending his money. But I look at my mom was a stay at home mom, and it's like, she would spend money on all of us. But like if we were in the store and like that shirt that she loved wasn't on sale, she wasn't buying it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why? She wouldn't spend for herself. And I just saw a thing the other day. I mentioned it to you, and it was like, your kid doesn't need another cute outfit. You need a new bra.
Oh,
And I'm like, how true is that? Like, is that like so true?
I am always
I can
getting
show you
them
my
new
bra
stuff.
right now.
The same. And I hate to say it, but like bras aren't doing anything for me at this point.
I don't
Like,
even wear them anymore.
This is structural. All right, Sam. So
Yes.
here's what I know.
Yeah.
We miss you.
Oh,
A lot.
you guys.
Always.
What would it take to get you back in a salon?
You had just brought
my
so,
God.
no, but you
for
honestly
real.
Hold
were.
on. I
would it
need to
take?
know.
This is hard.
I need
This
to
is
know
really
from
hard.
you, like, what are the things you miss about us? Like, and like,
She needs
what are
this
the things
closure.
that you miss about the salon?
Can you give Monica some closure right now? Did you miss
All right.
anything about her?
No. Oh my God. Of course. Are you kidding? That was the hardest thing because we were all, I mean, we're like a family. So it was really hard. That was really hard that, you know, making that decision to come back. That would be, oh my God. Summit would not be a thing.
There it is. Yep.
Because for me, and at the end, one of the biggest things, it just felt like, again, now as like a business owner, I understand the why you guys do the things that you do. But for me, it was just not part of my future. I just felt like just being a good hairstylist and sometimes just never felt like it was good enough.
Well, we did
You know?
change some things after you guys left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did learn a little bit from
But
that.
also, I do. I think that,
Yeah.
and kind of, I feel like I've learned a lot on the podcast because we talk through so much that we typically wouldn't normally talk about. But I do think that salon systems, regardless of what they are, if they're not aligning with an individual, that can sometimes be one of the biggest reasons why they choose to go independent. And I think that alongside flexibility
Yeah.
are probably the 2 major reasons why
Dress
people decide to
code.
leave.
People,
Yeah.
people are funny about dress code too. They don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
have to follow it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely dress down way more now because it's just me who's holding myself accountable. You know,
Yeah.
like when walking into Privé, I knew I had to present myself a certain way. But again, just in what I'm doing and the clients that I have, I don't think that that's like a determining factor if they would want to come back to me or not, because I may be wearing like a Rooted Hair Lounge sweatshirt that day compared to like dressing up. You know?
Hold on, this is interesting. We were talking about this, I think, on the last podcast. And you talked about it, Alicia, and I just saw Cody, the girl we follow on Instagram.
Cody Sanchez.
Did you see
statistic?
her statistics about
Yeah, it was in our
People-
meeting, Heather.
what?
It was in our team meeting.
No, I know, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, statistically, she was saying people that dress up make more money.
Okay.
And then, like, she was comparing to, like, she even broke it down to, like, actors and actresses. Like, ones that are better looking make more money than the ones that aren't that good looking.
I mean, that's kind of
is
obvious.
but you know what? I don't know how true that is. Like, I mean, look at Adam Sandler. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not one
But
of
he
the
has the
hottest ones, and he's probably one of the richest
Yeah,
people
but
in
I
the
would-
Hollywood.
I would
I
put
love
money
him.
on the fact that the people that do wear makeup and get dressed every day
believe
have
that.
a more deep rooted motivation within
Yes.
them than people who
Just,
don't.
I
For
get that.
sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
even before having kids, I was like, of course I have like time to get myself ready now. So
Right.
sometimes I think, I mean, I could probably prioritize it more, but for me, it's just not on my list of things that I care about as much, you know?
And you're not
Yeah.
gonna have somebody down breathing down your back, being
right, like
"Go
Mom's
home
be
and
like, is
get
that really
changed."
how you wore your hair today? And I'm like, oh, I thought I looked okay. Never
My favorite
mind.
move is when I just used to like Snapchat and like
Oh,
zoom
are you
in on it
kidding?
and like
I know.
send it to the.
And then I'd be like in the break room and I'd be like, oh.
I love when I'm wearing
I
something
thought
and
I
I'm like,
looked
I
great
know
today.
she's gonna
Today.
fucking say something to me today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
She's like,
gosh.
oh,
I
she-
still do it to Heather.
That's
She
in the
rips
dress
me
code
apart
now?
every other day. Like I literally get dressed in the morning and I'm like, "What's Mom gonna say about this?" Like,
Are you kidding? Especially when I was her assistant, I would be like, hopefully Monica thinks I look okay today.
yeah,
Wow, what a bitch.
No.
nasty.
I would have quit too.
Wait. Wait. So going back to it, and
Yeah.
obviously, like, yeah, I'm deeply considering how I can get you back, but
Oh my God,
no,
stop.
I'm just kidding.
Hold
what
on, wait.
things
Off
do you
record,
miss?
though, I will say when everything went down, you know, Mom's not an emotional person. When everything
I
went
know.
down, when your name came to the table, this one lost her shit, bawling her
sad.
No, I
eyes
know.
out of everyone.
sad.
She cared the most about losing you than
No,
anybody.
I know. And honestly, how everything went down was shocking to me, too. I didn't expect it to be. Not that I wasn't emotional about it, but I think just because I was like, why? Like, I'm still staying with Privé. I wouldn't want to go to any other suites.
Mom
And then you
doesn't
guys like
get to
presented
see
it.
you every
crying.
day.
I
I know,
Oh my God,
and
stop.
hear your voice and
No, I know.
your jokes and
Yeah.
that's what she was concerned
this
about.
is
She
what-
had no one to make her laugh.
To make
the
her
way you did.
entertain her every
Honestly,
day.
Sam, like this is what
No, I
like
know.
I think what I'm trying to get at is like the things that you would miss in a commission salon or like Privé in general. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's just like the camaraderie, like the break room. Like you were
Yes.
such a
Oh my God,
huge
stop.
pivotal
Part of our
part of like
culture.
how much fun we had back there. And there's so many people like Brooke
Oh my God,
Lavrat,
Brooke
like
was so funny.
Brooke was amazing.
She
You know, it's
still
like
is.
people like that
know.
and you, like when
Yeah.
you leave or you left, like we were
You left a
impacted.
hole in our heart.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yep.
No, I definitely, I miss it. I miss the break
Yeah.
room and like having, because we were such a family. Like that was definitely one of the transitions. It's like I had the people from Privé that were going over to the suites that I knew I was going to be comfortable with. But it's like almost like you're going into a new salon again. You're going to meet a bunch of new people. And like, you're like, wait, can I act like this? You know, like, because
Yeah.
everybody here in Privé in the break room knows my personality, you know? So it was definitely, that was an adjustment. But now since I've been there for 3 years, everybody, I'm close with, you know, everybody there
Yeah,
now
and they're
too.
great.
Yeah,
The community at
absolutely.
Society Suites is like phenomenal.
I've
Like, I-
met some of my closest friends now over there too, people who I'd never worked with before, and now they're like some of my closest friends.
Yep.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
I love
Yeah.
it too.
And that's what we wanted out of the society. We
did.
wanted that close knit. We wanted to mimic the culture in the salon and
Right.
try to give some kind of culture there.
Yeah, it doesn't feel, I guess in a way when you're in a salon, sometimes it feels almost like competitive because you can constantly see somebody else's schedule. You can see how busy they are. You can see like, you know, oh my gosh, my client went to them. What did I do wrong? You know, like that's hard. And now I feel like when you're in a suite, it's just more like relaxed. Like you're just like, I'm here and I can just socialize with these people, but it doesn't feel like a competition or like we're being compared to each other anymore, you know?
That's a good perspective because I feel like that's not something that I've been aware of, but it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Talk to us about the the dynamic with clients and having to interact with them
Yeah.
in regards to like scheduling appointments and you
If
know
you're sick one day. or-
yeah
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. And do you double book?
I actually do.
okay
That's been great. I feel like in a way, even at Privé, I was super involved in that. I liked to communicate with my clients and like look at my schedule and be like, you know, this is where you can fit at this day and time. I know how much hair you have. I know it's only going to take me this long. I'm a type A person and a control freak, so I like to be in control of like every little detail, being like, you're going to get, I know where I can fit you or whatever, you know, I like doing all of that. And checking people out isn't really as scary as you think it's going to be. I feel like in the beginning you're like, okay, that'll be like $300, and you're like, give me
Holding
your
your
card.
breath.
Yeah, and you're like, it went through, it's fine. But like now it's just nothing, you know.
Yeah.
It's so
yeah.
I'm comfortable, you know.
Have you had any negative interactions with clients that you would have liked somebody else to be involved with?
Just that crazy lady recently.
Oh yeah, that was
No,
funny.
but
Forgot
no,
about that.
honestly, no. I feel like I've been so lucky with my transition. I haven't really dealt with any crazy people or like uncomfortable situations when it comes to clients and all that kind of stuff.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that because I feel like that's not always the case.
Well, I feel like in a way I'm not really getting booked random people anymore, you know, where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know their personality. I feel like now it's almost all my clients are people I've already been doing for years, or it's friends of a friend. So
Right.
it's not like any Joe Schmo off the street can just like walk in and book with me, you know? So I feel like, knock on wood, I'm going to get a crazy person next week.
Call us.
Mike,
but-
can you call my client and
Yeah,
just
and tell her
pretend
that
you're
like
my,
I've
you're my
stopped
front
doing
desk
hair
person?
completely.
There was one particular
Yeah.
instance where Brianna had a situation.
Oh yeah, that was in the very beginning, and
that
that was
was-
really intense.
Yeah, it was awful. And like what I was hearing this was going on with this individual and like Brie and I were chatting a lot
Yeah.
about it because I was trying to tell her how she should handle it.
Yeah.
But that specific scenario, I'm like, God, that's where it's helpful to have like a front desk or an in-between person that's able to like
Or like your boss to be like, all right, now it's like she can handle it. No, that was definitely like tricky. And I remember we were talking about it and we're like, maybe we should reach out to Mon to like help us navigate that. Cause I was like, we weren't even a year in when that happened, or even 6 months, I don't think. So it was definitely like something new, but luckily haven't dealt with something
Good.
like that. Yeah.
and even within the salons, you know, like you know,
Yeah.
we see hundreds of people a week and it's not often do we come in contact with someone up to that level where
Right,
it was
right.
getting like aggressive and kind of ridiculous. But
Yeah. No.
yeah. So where do you find inspiration and like are you still actively doing classes or anything like that? Are you kind of like just like where are you how are you staying inspired, I guess?
I feel like right now I feel like the change of season, so everybody's wanting to change their hair again. It's like I want to go lighter for summer, so that those transitions are always a lot of fun. I definitely still take classes, probably should take some more, but I don't know. I feel like my clients are all really good to me, so I feel like I enjoy going to work and doing their hair, and it keeps it fun and exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine the community at Society Suites, like
Yeah.
just like you guys all kind of getting that off of one another and
Yeah.
also social media.
Oh, for sure. It keeps
Yeah.
me like, I want to learn that technique, or I want to do that, you know? But I will say you have to hold yourself more accountable to take initiative for those things when you're in a suite. If you're in a salon and they're presenting it for you, it's different. You know, it's easier to just like constantly take classes when you're in a salon and they're already having them scheduled, you know?
Yep. All right. Any advice for anybody who would be considering switching from commission salon to a suite?
I would say if you aren't fully booked, it's not for you. You need to be very established and be very busy and have a good relationship with your clients and know that they're going to follow you over. If you're still starting out and you're not consistently busy, and if you're not going to do a lot of marketing and all that, it's not going to be an easy adjustment at all. Again, also get yourself a good accountant so they can help you and hold you accountable with all that. You know, make sure you know what you're doing with
Tax planning.
money.
Do you have a retirement plan?
I do
Yeah.
actually.
You do?
Yeah, but I had that forever ago, like a
Okay.
financial planner.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he helped me with all that kind of stuff. So that, but again, if I didn't like know somebody working in the salon and they were like, "Oh, you should go do that," I probably would have never done it.
You got a guy for that?
Yeah, I got a guy for that.
I love it. And then in regards to like a partnership, like what are the things that you feel are valuable when like choosing a partner to go into this with?
Having this, you have to be with somebody who I feel like thinks like you and wants the same goals and wants to be on the same page about things. If you are going to go with somebody who's like a type B personality and you're type A and they already aren't like showing up to work or, you know, things like that, like you're not going to mesh well at all. You have to have the same personality and want the same goals. I think all of that, I feel like is really important.
All right, cool. I love it.
Awesome.
Yay.
Well, this was super insightful. Thank you so much
it
for
was so
sharing.
nice having you
Thanks
here.
for having
I
me.
know. We're all kind of a little bit emotional.
I know.
It's so funny.
It feels so good sitting next to Sam again.
I know.
Me too. I'm happy. I was a
Yeah,
little
we got to do a
nervous.
better job of getting together.
Yeah, for sure.
Got my Halle
Seriously.
Berry Phil.
Halle
I
Berry.
know. I'm like, if only the news was here.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in to this 2-part series. If you liked it and found it insightful, do us a favor and subscribe and like and share, and we will continue to provide you content. Thanks.